This is Briggs and Stratton's 7K home generator. Most of the problems I had when I first installed it were a couple-fold. First off, I had to make sure that the wiring was correct in the panels. And I think the biggest mistake that people make was the fact is that they failed to connect the circuit panel to the right location. And what it boils down to is that this generator is very picky. And when it starts and stops every 10 seconds, that's an indication that it's not producing 240 volts at this location. So you'd want to check this circuit breaker for 240 volts. If it's not getting 240 volts, then a couple things can be wrong. Usually it will be the voltage regulator, which is right here located inside the generator at the base of the unit. And very easy to replace. 2 screws. The cost of it's about $50. And there's 4 wires plus 2 power wires that go to connect. And they're all numbered, 11, and all the parts are numbered. So it's easy to replace this. Pulling it off, if it's really bad, this is called the stator. The stator might be the next problem. But if it's producing voltage, you can test this voltage by taking this panel out. And as you can see from the one that we've replaced, which was pretty well fried, you have the wire 6 and 2 and 11 and 22, and then this is the hot and ground leads. This is what happened to our unit. Unit got fried. So we replaced it with a new one. It's a little bit newer model, and it doesn't have a heat sink on it, so it makes a big difference in the newer model. Once we replaced that, we hooked up the gas. Now, if you notice, there's 2 types of gas. There's propane gas and natural gas. Well, in Latin American countries, natural gas comes in these big tanks, and sometimes it's confused for propane gas. But if you need to, you can change the carburetor here. There's 2 valves. One goes right here, and one goes right here, with a propane-style jets that you can adjust. That's where they would go. This valve right here, the switch right here, is for the oil. When it's low oil pressure, it'll sense that and shut it off. Taking the carburetor out is not a major problem. You've got 4 or 5 screws to take it out. Take this part off, take this part off, and this is the carburetor right here. So you can replace that fairly easy. Or if you can get underneath here, you can just unscrew this and unscrew this valve and put the jets inside there. Other than that, the engine seems to be strong, durable, reliable. This is the circuit panel as we have it set up. So we tested across this line and then flew through the circuit breaker and tested across this line for 250 volts. And then once we did that, the battery is set up. Very simple. Standard fuse. We have extra fuses in the case just for backup measure. And this device right here, that's the starter mechanism. Now you get told about line 56, which is this purple line right at the top here. Can be disconnected and hot wired directly to the hot lead on the battery to establish a constant run of the motor to test the voltage to make sure something else is not wrong with the generator. But as we found, several things were the biggest problems was the wiring in the main circuit panel, which we'll go over in a second, was the biggest culprit of causing problems.